Not only have China and the IOC failed to live up to that promise, China has actually moved away from fulfilling it. Although some rules have been lifted for foreign journalists, as Steve mentioned, their Chinese colleagues face tighter than usual restrictions on their reporting. We also have seen the restrictions slapped on foreign journalists trying to report on the demonstrations and ensuing ethnic violence in Tibet and surrounding provinces. And the Foreign Correspondents Club of China says it has been informed of more than 180 incidents of harassment of colleagues since it started keeping the tally last year. For Chinese journalists, the Central Propaganda Department's censorship machine is running at the higher level it uses to control news flow during critical party congresses and national legislative assemblies. At times like those, the government wants to suppress criticism and put on a display of national unity. And even though there have been a flurry of releases earlier this year, China continues to hold 24 journalists behind bars, the largest number of any country in the world. The press freedom situation has been aggravated by the apparent reluctance of the IOC until very recently to press China to meet its pledges. In the past, the IOC had made tone-deaf statements like this: "It is not within our mandate to act as an agent for concerned groups. Journalists are imprisoned all over the world, sometimes for good reasons, sometimes for bad reasons." That was an answer that IOC Olympic Games Executive Director Gilbert Felly gave our committee in Lausanne when my colleagues met with the IOC in November 2006. So what should the perhaps 30,000 visiting journalists expect when they cover the games, and particularly when they cover the China that lies beyond the games venue? Resident foreign correspondents already follow practical rules like assuming that their phones could be tapped and that their emails scanned, particularly if they are the sort of reporter who digs deeper into controversial issues. They also know that they are running the risk of a confrontation if they look too closely at subjects like pro-democracy activists, aged villages, the Falun Gong, or underground churches that meet without the government's permission. Protests at the village level by farmers angry with party corruption or abusive officials will be harder to stifle, but the pressure has already started and will increase on groups that might try to pull off a demonstration to catch the attention of foreign cameras in Beijing. But more importantly, newcomers to reporting in China should realize that their Chinese counterparts are not allowed to play by the same rules. And that particularly applies to the thousands of young production assistants, translators, gophers, and fixers that they'll be hiring to help them once they start to spread out across the country. It's these younger college students and recent graduates with the language skills and enthusiasm to catch the eye of a foreign correspondent who may well be most at risk. Reporters who ask their Chinese hires to arrange potentially dangerous meetings with activists or to visit an AIDS village, for example, or to get advance information on potential demonstrations that the government will want to quash, might be putting their Chinese colleagues at risk. It's not inconceivable that they will be made to pay a price, if not during the games, then after them, when the world's media attention is moved on.